Hi everybody, welcome back. My name is Elise Gamble and this is Oh Sugar. Today we're going to be talking about what it looks like to be pregnant and have type 1 diabetes. So grab your juice boxes and let's go. Hi everyone, welcome back. So today, like I told you, we're going to be discussing what it looks like to be a type 1 diabetic and pregnant. So let me just start by saying that my story is very untraditional. I went in for my glucose test at 28 weeks. I was not a diabetic before this, and I was told that my sugars were at 718. Now, if you're a type 1 diabetic, you know that's outrageous. So I was called to go into the hospital. I had, of course, ketones and everything, and they bring me down and they tell me, oh, you're a type 1 diabetic. No, it's gestational. And they're like, no, you have the autoantibodies. So here I am, 28 weeks pregnant, trying to move. My husband's starting a new job, and I'm diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. I had no idea that being a diabetic was going to be like, the actual diagnosis was going to be like the least of my worries. So we'll just go ahead and start that like normal pregnancies, when you're trying to get pregnant, you want to be like, have an A1C of like 6.5 or below. Once you are pregnant, they want you to stay under 6. My A1C at 28 weeks was 11.5. So they automatically told me there could be some significant issues with your child, with his heart, with deformities. There could be a lot of chances of stillbirth. He could either be very high weight or low weight. And that's because as you're getting rid of sugars, she is excreting sugars too. So they have to start doing all of these tests. And when you're a diabetic and you are pregnant, you automatically become a high-risk pregnancy. And most people will go see maternal fetal medicine. And I went to University of Michigan, and I was put under maternal fetal medicine, and then they took care of all of my OB needs during that time. So they monitored all my sugars. My endocrinologist did not. My OB did not help me with the delivery. My maternal fetal medicine did. And at some hospitals, you will still have your regular OB deliver for you, but you're going to be monitored up until delivery with maternal fetal medicine. So what does that mean to be monitored? Well, you're going to go in for some fetal imaging, making sure that your baby is got all of the eyes and fingers and toes and all the organs that it needs to have, and that their fluids are, at proper measurements. You don't want to have too much fluid in your system, which can happen with diabetics. And so that was pretty scary. They're telling me, oh, your child might not be alive anymore. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how could this be happening? So anyway, we went in through all of our tests when I was at the hospital. And so we do a non-stress test, which is where they put these like little monitors on your belly and they monitor the baby's heart rate. And so you have to do that at least once a week. I did it twice a week during my 3rd trimester. And then they'll go in and do ultrasounds of you every other week. And then they'll also go ahead and do he's really fussy today. They will also go ahead and do your 1 to 2 times a week of maternal fetal medicine check-in. How are you feeling? What are your sugars? So as I'm working full-time, I have to make sure that I am going to all of these appointments, which are 30 minutes away, and each appointment is like an hour long. So it really ended up becoming a full-time job to be pregnant with type 1 diabetes. But luckily our son was born 5 pounds 15 ounces, which is a little small, but we were induced a little bit early at 38 weeks and 5 days. And yeah, he seems to be doing a-okay right now. So we're pretty happy about that. But one thing I would recommend is to make sure that wherever you deliver that there is a NICU. A lot of times type 1 diabetic mothers will have children that need to be in a NICU. So the reason that I stayed in Ann Arbor and lived with my family during that period and did not move with my husband is because there was no NICU within an hour and a half of our new home. So that was a big determining factor of like where I'm going to be doing my care. Something else that will happen that I didn't know until after I was done with pregnancy is that your insulin needs will go down dramatically back to your like baseline. But your placenta creates all these hormones and it makes you go crazy. So I was on 34 units of Lantus and 6 to 7 units with each meal of Lispro while I was pregnant. That's a huge number for me because normally now I am on 4 units of Lantus and 1 unit for every 30 grams of carbs, which is about what I eat at every meal. So anyway, that's kind of just shows you that you can do anything that you want to try to make your sugars stay low, but you're going to need increased insulin. And as soon as you're done having that baby, it immediately goes down, that need. So that's something to consider. And they want your sugars when you're pregnant to be between 70 and 140, at least for me. And right now they're telling me it's okay to be between 65 and 180. So again, you want to be really strict and tight in your control, which is probably why they're giving you extra insulin. And then they don't want the baby to have a ton of highs, or they don't really want them to have lows either. But I experienced a ton of lows, especially in the middle of the night. And that was scary because you're sleeping, and thank God I had a Dexcom, but I would be like, dropping into the 50s. So I'm just, shoving wheat thins in my face. But they ended up saying, okay, you're not going to be able to deliver whenever you want. You're going to have to deliver, and we're going to induce you, and we're going to induce you early so that we can monitor your sugars during pregnancy. We don't want you going in to delivery and us not being able to be prepared and have everything ready. And so if we back up just a little bit, I will just go ahead and say that we did not know the sex of our baby, and with all of the echocardiograms and with all of the ultrasounds and everything that we were getting, it was really hard for the doctors. And I mean, because we saw so many different doctors and my eye doctors and everything, they're like, oh, what are you having? What are you having? And so just if you are not planning on knowing, make sure to tell all of your doctors ahead of time before your appointment even starts. Like, we don't want to know the gender because everybody is going to be able to see that. And yeah, you want to keep the surprise alive. And your sugars will be all over the place, and it's okay. Just continue to talk with your endocrinologist. Sometimes I would eat the exact same thing and it'd be really high, and the next day I'd be low. So anyway, the joys of high and low sugars, which really leveled out for me after I was done being pregnant, but obviously you still get those few frustrating days here and there, or if you're sick or something. But yes, so let's jump back forward and talk about induction. So they scheduled me to do 39 weeks. I went in for my maternal fetal medicine appointment and said, I'm getting a ton of lows, I'm not feeling great. And they said, we're gonna just induce you right now. Great, can't wait, let's get this baby out. I'm miserable, I'm huge, right? Birth is no joke, so everybody go hug your mother. So since they want to monitor your sugars, before they can even start inducing you, they want to make sure, do you have your Dexcom? Is it reading right? They're going to finger prick you like 5 times to make sure it's right. And then they're going to make sure that they have all of the insulin that you need. You are not allowed to do your own insulin. At least I was not at my place. It had to come through the pharmacy, and then they had to scan it. And anyway, so there's all of that. And they're not going to tell you what like your sugars are during any of this period. And I didn't really have my phone. It was just, they manage it. They tell us, but they will make you eat certain things. Like up until a certain point, you can eat. but you can only eat vegan. I don't know if you've ever had hospital vegan food, but there are really no good vegan diabetic options. Like all of them are like crazy high. So I don't know how they monitored that, or I mean, like, I don't know why they would ever make us do vegan, but I wanted an epidural, so my guess is that could have been part of it. And then once you have the baby, I had my epidural, and then they could just continue to monitor you. They're giving you your insulin afterward. And then you're gonna, after 24 hours after, you're gonna start to monitor your sugars again. And they're going to prick your baby for the first 24 hours in the feet usually, and they'll draw his or her blood sugar, and they'll just see, okay, like, is the baby okay? Do they have low sugars? Because a lot of times they'll have a few low sugars, which is usually pretty easily corrected, but you're going to have to make sure that they can get in the NICU for that. And so right now I am 3 months postpartum, and he is doing well. He is still pretty short, but he's gaining weight okay. So we got a short little bowling ball here, and he's doing well, but we're looking forward to doing the whole pregnancy again in a few years. So we're gonna have to start all over with, you know, making sure that as soon as I am thinking about getting pregnant, to talk to the maternal fetal medicine, get those appointments early, making sure that my A1C is in range, and then just to be prepared to keep my sugars under 140. And yeah, I hope that you guys all at least got a little bit of something from this, and share your stories with me. I'd be happy to hear them. And I'm looking forward to doing this again. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Cheers.